So you go.
We go.
Here.
We're
just here for a conversation.
Yes, great.
I want to ask Serena, what did your mother have to do to persuade you to be on the podcast?
Oh my gosh. Not much, actually.
Yeah.
So there was no bribe or anything involved.
Ooh.
Should there have been?
Oh yeah. Now you're getting me thinking. I don't know. Maybe there will be for the second season. Maybe. Yeah. We'll see. I don't
She's
know.
learning.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think we started the podcast because a lot of people. I've been coming to conventions with my mom since I was 4. And a lot of people always come up to the table and share their stories of how the show impacted their lives and just how meaningful it is to them. And so that was one of the things that we wanted to do for the podcast, was kind of to bring those stories to a greater audience. So, and I'd never seen the first season of the show because my mom was pregnant with me for the whole first season. So I was born at the end of that.
So she could only she knew Ash's lines heard through the lining of my stomach, and that was it.
Yeah.
So then we finally sat down and watched the episodes.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. And the show itself is actually really great. So it's been quite enjoyable to watch.
So had you been much of a Pokemon watcher before that, or because your mum was in it?
Yeah,
or?
it was the only show I was allowed to watch in the morning. And we always
Did you have to acknowledge Mom?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the crazy thing, especially about Pokemon, is like even now it's easy to like remove yourself. I think both of us, there's some things where you can hear your voice. Like I hate hearing the sound of my voice, and so sometimes you hear it and you're like, I wish I did that differently or something. But I think Pokemon is great because the voices are so different that you really can kind of just watch it without thinking like, oh wow, that's my mom, or I know that person, But yeah, it's good.
So before we go on to asking Veronica questions, how was it growing up with someone who was so versatile with their voice?
Yeah.
So in terms of if you were naughty, was there a certain different type of character that would come out?
Oh, she just sounds very, very strict.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a pity we don't have film, because you just should see Veronica's face.
It was an interesting actual thought I just had then was, does a character come out?
I don't think it's a character.
You don't?
No.
I don't know. It's strict mom voice.
Yeah, she gets the strict mom voice, which luckily I will say I'm pretty good. So I don't get that much.
Yes.
But there is a thing when my mom is mad.
And we do
it's like the deep
and the one.
And because you're well versed, you can bring out that different character.
Yes.
So which brings me, is that something that you do use in your real life, your voice as a tool, as well as your career?
I would say probably yes, because you do have to temper what you say and how you say it depending on with whom you're speaking. So I certainly have a way of speaking to younger children to kind of gain their confidence. I have a way of speaking to people at the hotel when I would like them to do something, and like when you're trying to be super nice, and that way, and not that it's not fake, but there's different ways that you use your voice, I think, just depending on the situation.
It's just interesting because you build your life around different characters.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as different characters in your inner voice as well?
I don't think so. And perhaps I don't have an inner voice as much because I'm using my outer voice so much. I do a lot of audiobooks, so I have many, many characters that I'm kind of thinking of while I'm working on the book, which can be 3 days of immersing yourself in that. And I don't really have that. I don't talk to myself so much, but I do think a lot of people do.
Yes.
And I don't think I do so much. I'm more probably I say too much out loud. Just like I'm talking to myself right now and I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. Okay. Yeah. But I never just give myself that pep talk, as much.
Because voice acting is different from acting. Because you have to create your own world.
In your head.
To do that. Yeah. I just wondered how that also was in real life. Was that?
Yeah. It's almost 1 o'clock.
I think all of the skills that I learned for theater or TV, it's mostly theater is where you get your great base for acting. And so there you use your full body and you're using your full voice for whatever the role calls for. all of that comes into play for voice acting, even sitting and narrating a book. But it's like you said, in your head, and you know what the body would be doing, but it comes out only in your voice, in what you're saying and how you're saying.
So if you're skiing,
Yeah,
you're
still kind of going down the hill, and you have an understanding of how you stick the sticks in the ground and push, or as you're running, it's still, I was trying to get here as fast as I could, and so you know what it feels like because you've gone through it all, and then you just have it come out.
Now, the interesting thing is that you're the voice of Ash, and then we've got someone like who's Bart Simpson is also a female voice.
Right.
What is it about the female voice doing the young boy? Is that something that is common?
I think so, because you have a little bit more range, and for women, if you get younger boys to play younger boys, once their voices change,
yes, it's the prepubescence still is in our voices.
And a lot of men, they don't transition into a higher voice or a lighter voice that easily. So luckily, women can pop in and kind of have a wider range in that sense.
So our voices change as we age. Has yours changed over that time? Or because you're a vocal actor, can you maintain that voice?
I feel like for the most part I've maintained it. And I can still do roles that I did, 1995, because some of those characters have come back. But probably with all the traveling that I do, I have more wear and tear on my voice than I used to. We wear masks for conventions and in big groups, and speaking even that little bit more projection to get through the mask, it has a wear on my voice that I have there's a different sound that I have now that I didn't have before. And I wouldn't say that's age. I think it's wear and tear.
So tell us a bit more about the podcast and I guess it came about because you have a love of Pokémon.
We thought for a long time to do a podcast because of all the great stories that we hear. And we are saying, like, what can we work on that we can just share this with people? And I think we probably thought about it for maybe 5 years.
I think it probably came out of the pandemic, too, of both of us being home and together and just kind of trying to figure out what to do next.
How to make the most of it.
Yeah, and just like, again, so many stories about how the show has helped people through really tough times, or, I met my partner because we both loved the show, or we met at a convention. And so just those kind of personal stories, just motivated us, and we thought, well, we could rewatch the episodes, and then at the end of each episode, we have people call in, like send in voice recordings or write in their favorite memories, and we play that, which I think is honestly the best part.
It's so great.
But the podcast itself is a rewatch of the first season at this moment of Pokémon, and so we kind of do a short little recap of each episode, and then just talk about the different lessons that you can learn and how you can apply that to being a better trainer in your real life.
I've never had one job. So when I was working on Pokemon, I also was working on other things. And then I was also just pregnant. So you remember things in a different way. And, it's just...
So how do you compartmentalize when you've got multiple characters in one production, say?
When you're dubbing something, you just do all of one character first and then all of the others. So it's much easier to just stick in character. When I'm doing an audiobook or prelay, which is when you do a cartoon voices first and then it's animated later, you have to really envision the character as you're doing the voice for it. So even in a book, I have my notes, and I've noted in the script or in the text of the manuscript of the book, and then I just kind of tell the story, and I can pop in and out of the voices. But it's easier to maybe not get all the way into a voice in the audiobook. It's much easier to just fully be a character when you're doing it one at a time.
Because is dubbing over the top of a cartoon harder than actually laying down a voice that the cartoon's done later?
Yeah, I think it's just different muscles, really, because when you are dubbing, you are forced to fit the lip flap. So the script has to acknowledge the open mouth that pauses, or just odd stuff that happens in there because it's in another language. We worked on Cubics, which was South Korean, and what I didn't know it before that was that in that language there's an open mouthed sound usually at the end of a sentence. So a lot of things had to be tweaked a bit.
So linguistically then, this is another thought. Do you have to actually place a character in a particular language group to make it that sound? Or do you do research?
No, don't research, because half the time you don't even know. Like when I auditioned for Cubics, I didn't know where it was from, and I didn't know anything about it until we started working on it.
But
And
that's also, I mean, especially for dubbing and for all cartoons and all shows in general, there's a huge team behind that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, they
there
do
are
it.
people who adapt the script, so they take it and they translate it, and then they adapt it into English, and then they look over it. And so all of those people are constantly, like, watching the show and figuring out what phrases are going to fit before you get into the booth.
So,
Right.
like,
So
do
all of
you
that work was
voice
out
act?
of that. I've done a few things here and there, but I also go to work with my mom, and you pick up some things as you go.
So when you went into podcasting, was it easy for you just to sit down and start talking to your mum?
I guess so. I mean, it's not really different from what we do at home. We just have microphones
all over the place.
Yeah.
But I will say,
And who did the editing?
we have someone else do that.
does that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because then we
have
don't
a
have to
friend.
sit back and listen to ourselves, and we probably would never go on, because then you start listening back and going, oh, that was dumb, I want to change this, so we have someone else.
I cut that
do
little
that.
bit of that word out
Yes.
to make me sound real.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
I've cut her out many times.
Yeah, that's it. Rena is a natural at that. She has a natural acting talent anyway. She's an artist, so that's her specialty, but she certainly, I mean, as her mother and
My
as
mom
a fellow
has always
human, I
wanted
would
me to
say,
be an actor.
And what do you want to do?
Well, at the moment, I really enjoyed doing art, so I'm a painter and an illustrator, so that's kind of what I'm working on.
that's what
And
Rena
then I
went to
travel.
school for.
Or
No,
graphic-
so
more
more graphic design, like kind of picture book type stuff. So I can't do animation.
So you can
for
draw the
life.
ball. You both can come up with
Yeah,
a story,
exactly.
and then you can do the
You've talked
audio.
about
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a whole publishing empire, really.
I know.
It's
We've got the
empire.
market cornered.
Yeah, there is a thing, like, it's so wonderful that we get to travel together. And I'm very close to my mom. Rena's close to her grandmother. And there's just it's great to do things with your family.
Yeah.
But it's also great to have your own life and do things. So part of
Yeah.
the problem that we have is that we always want to work on stuff. And then at the same time, it's, well, if we get going on it, does that mean we can't do anything else?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that
We
fear
like
of
being
success.
together, but we also enjoy our own space.
Yeah.
And so it's figuring out how to
Yeah.
find that
So you have a
balance,
healthy relationship.
but- Yeah, I think so.
Very. But it's been really lucky that we've been able to travel together and work on things. And, we just have a lot of ideas, so we can always bounce them back and forth. And we do stupid videos, just, like dumb stuff that makes us laugh really hard. And I mean, that's what it's all about at this point.
So where can we get the podcasts?
You can stream it anywhere you get your podcasts. It's
The
called
name?
The Trainer's Guide. On Instagram, I think, and Twitter. It's at the Trainer's Guide Pod.
It has a picture of
and
us
then,
holding Pokeballs. So,
But anywhere you get your podcast, it's just at The Trainer's Guide.
yeah. Okay. It's great. I mean, it's fun. And we have about 3 episodes left in the first season. And then we're trying to pop into the second season. But more so, it's really about getting people to send in.
Well, you've got a
at
lifetime
some
ahead
point.
because you've got 8 seasons to go.
I know, that's
right.
true.
And 52 episodes. It's
Each one,
a long road.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us
This
today.
has been such an honor.
so
You
much.
two are so interesting and wonderful. And the idea that we get to just be women talking together is extraordinary.
Yes.
Because we don't have that chance really in real lives. We don't all sit around and say, like, how was it raising your children and having a career? And what did you do to get through? And all of that stuff is so necessary. And we didn't fully talk about that today, but another
No,
time.
because someone's stopping us.
I
from
know.
doing that.
But I do hope another time we can somehow connect, because I think what you're doing is so
absolutely.
interesting and important. And you're so lovely.
Well, that's why we did our podcast, because there were no women's voices.
Yeah.
And we were very lucky that we had one of our first interviews was J.J. Abrams.
Yes. Wow.
Christopher Pine and,
Yeah.
and Jack Sack. So what could we do from that? We
I
had to
know.
go on and let's
Right.
do
It
podcasts.
was all downhill from
That's
there.
right. You've hit rock bottom here, so we can only go up from here.